Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night and it is time for dinner with Debbie, and I'm coming here like later than I intended, but I had something from work come up today, so I really needed to like be on the phone for a while. So apologies, it's like 7 o'clock and I usually come on by 6. But hey, I am excited about what I'm making tonight because for a couple of reasons actually. For one, I've been really looking for things that might be more family friendly, kid friendly, and I also wanted to do something that was really quick and simple, and also something that might be useful for this week or this weekend if you choose to make it. So I am doing grilled chicken kebabs because this week we are having a lot of like days where it's going to be rainy and what have you. And, you know, I'm not complaining because we really need the rain here in Virginia, but, you know, it kind of puts a damper if you want to do grilling outside. So what if you want to do kebabs, but you can't go outside to do the grill, or if you do, you're going to be wet and you have an umbrella and all these things and it's hard to get the grill going and what have you. I'm actually a big proponent of doing like the charcoal grill, not the gas grill. I don't like that gas grill feeling, but that's another story for another day. But what I really wanted to show you guys was this chicken kebab. And one of the things I like about it is because for kids, they love food like on sticks, you know, so you can like sell it and you can always change out the ingredients in it to suit your family and your kids, you know, desires and what they like. But, you know, today what I'm making is like a bell peppers in different colors. I'm adding actually zucchini squash to it, which isn't in the recipe that I'm sending you, and red onions. Along with chicken that's been marinating. So I'm going to get started right away with the marinade. I've got a big bowl here. I've got my rainbow whisk. And I'm going to get started with the marinade. And that is 1 cup of low sodium soy sauce and a 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. I actually had those both in the same container, but just to save time. But here's my pineapple juice. Sometimes you can get the smaller containers and that's kind of cool. The other thing that goes in here is, let me pull up my recipe real quick. Oh yeah, I'm going to put in some minced garlic, and I'm saving time and just using the already minced garlic, but it would be like the equivalent of 3 cloves, which for me is like 3 tablespoons. If you guys have been following me, you know I always put in more garlic than what they call for because I like garlic. And it's actually good for you. So we're going to put the garlic in. We're going to put in some light brown sugar. I have a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. That's going to go in here. I've got some ground ginger, and again I'm kind of roughly measuring this, but it's about a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to throw that in, and a little bit of black pepper because you can never have too much black pepper. Just a little bit there. Okay. Oh, and also goes into this like a 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to just quickly whisk this up. It smells really good. And then what I had done previous to this was that I cut up some chicken breast. This is boneless, skinless chicken breast, about 2 pounds. And I cut them into kind of chunks. And I actually have them in a Ziploc bag here, but I'm going to put those into the marinade. And this is something that you can kind of do in the morning if you're working, or if you work from home, you can like do this real quick at like lunchtime. and let it should be in the marinade for a minimum of 2 hours. And I'm going to go ahead and mix. And you want the marinade, you want the chicken to be fully submerged in the marinade, which is why I don't put the water in until I see the chicken in here. And this is actually good. You know, it's all submerged. Let me show you. The chicken's all submerged. So this is going to go, I'm going to cover this with some saran wrap or some sort of like plastic wrap or aluminum foil and throw this in the fridge. And then I already had some in the fridge marinating. I put it in this Ziploc bag. I don't know about you guys, but I think like Ziploc bags are like the best thing because you can, like, I could probably take this and like, once I put it in here, if I wanted to do like multiple like versions of this, I could probably take this right from the marinade and throw it in the freezer and then pull it out of the freezer and let it thaw and, you know, be, you know, ready to go for another time so that you've got, you know, a lot of your prep done. So while the, you know, since I already have the chicken marinated here, I'm going to move on to the vegetables in here. And so what I have is a red pepper, an orange bell pepper, and a yellow pepper. And I'm just going to cut these into chunks. But I wanted to show you my cool little sharpening tool. My daughter gave me this as a gift. And I actually use this to sharpen my knife every time before I use it. And it really makes a big difference because, you know, you only have problems with like cutting yourself with a knife when you have a dull knife. So I'm cutting these pieces of pepper into, you know, little squares about that size. And, you know, they're obviously seeded it and done all of that. So this will just take a moment. And you'll notice, of course, the full recipe along with the ingredient list will be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. And you'll notice that it'll have like, you know, the bell peppers on there. But what I've decided to add, because I wanted to add a few more vegetables to my kebab, I decided to get some zucchini. So I'm going to be, you know, chopping this up into chunks as well to put on the skewers. And if your children or family does not, like, I can understand why some kids might not, you know, enjoy the peppers. Maybe they might think it's too exotic. You know, sometimes I think that couching the ingredients in some sort of fun, like, way to name it, like, in this case, since we're using all these different colors of peppers, I think I might be tempted to call this rainbow, a rainbow chicken kebab because of all the colors. Because if you think about that, plus I've got, you know, red onion. So we've got red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, you know, the red onion, and then maybe this zucchini. You know, you're going to have some really interesting colors, so why not call it rainbow? I mean, I kind of like that for myself. I think when kids have fun names like that for their food, they're more likely to try things that maybe they might turn their nose up at otherwise. So with the onion, I'm kind of cutting it into big wedges like this. And for the vegetables, I just have a dish like this that I'm putting them into. I'm going to be just putting a drizzle of oil on them. Oh, and by the way, I do have the broiler preheating right now because that's how we're going to cook them. We're not doing the grill because this week in Virginia is kind of rainy, so I'm not going out there to stand in the rain at the grill. And again, I'm not complaining. We need the rain. So, all right, so we got that. And I'm going to be adding, I have a couple of zucchinis that I'm going to chop up. And these are of a size that I think I'm just going to do them in like chunky slices like this, you know, like 1/2-inch slices. That'll be good. It'll cook on the, it'll cook, you know, at around the same time as the other vegetables and chicken. And I will end up serving all of this on rice, which if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I've discovered the frozen rice, which you just have to put in the microwave, and that makes it super easy and super quick. Because normally like the rice takes, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour to cook. So now I've got my chicken in the marinade in the refrigerator. That would be normally 2 hours. But now I have my vegetables ready. I'm going to take my vegetables and, you know, I've got some olive oil here, which again, this is my favorite brand, California Olive Ranch, extra virgin olive oil. There's no set amount in the ingredient list for how much olive oil. So I just kind of like pour a little bit on, like a drizzle, and then I use a spoon and kind of toss it all together, because the reason you're putting the oil on here is so that it doesn't, you know, it retains some of the juiciness when you put it under the broiler. And I can tell you, I think that the name that you should use for these kebabs if you have kids and you're trying to get them to eat more vegetables would be Rainbow, because look at that. Look at all those pretty colors. So, and again, they're going to be on a stick. So now we're at the point where we can start putting the kebabs together. So normally, I shouldn't say normally, but you know, there's 2 options for skewers for kebabs. You know, there's the bamboo skewers, which if you use bamboo skewers, you know, get the longer ones, and then maybe soak them in water for about a half an hour before you use them, so that they're less likely to like burn or catch on fire in the oven, or even in the, you know, even if you use them on the grill. But I'm going to be trying some metal skewers today. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit more substantial, and I like the idea that I can use them over and over again, and that I don't have like these bamboo things that I'm like throwing away. So I'm going to show you those. So they're these are just black, and you can see they're long and they're pointy at the one end. And so you can put these kebabs together, you know, in whatever order you like. I kind of like to do them in, you know, something that's attractive color-wise, just because I think attractive food is more fun to eat. So I've got my vegetables here. I'm getting my chicken that I have in the Ziploc, and I prepared a pan. So what I've done is taken a baking sheet that's rimmed, and I've lined it with aluminum foil, and then I've put a cooking grate on top. And that's where I'm going to be putting my kebabs after I've made them. And of course my cooking grate isn't quite wide enough, but this is where it gets kind of fun. So you've got your, you know, so I take a little bit of onion, maybe a piece of zucchini, some pepper, and use a couple of different colors. And then, you know, put some chicken in here. And I like to separate the chicken pieces with like a piece of pepper, but you can really do whatever you want. And actually what might be fun, if you're up for it, is to maybe get your kids involved with this part, because it is kind of fun. If they're of an age where you think you can trust them to, you know, put a skewer on and not like poke themselves in the finger or what have you, this is a fun way. And I think that if you get your kids involved with cooking, they're more likely to be kind of more adventurous. So, oh shoot. I just had a mishap. My Ziploc bag of marinade just kind of spilled out onto the floor. All right, well, the dog's happy. So I'm going to put a couple more of these together, and then I'm going to put them under the broiler. And they cook up pretty quickly under the broiler. So, so the broiler's heating right now. And I'm just gonna like stick. This is actually kind of the fun part. And again, since I have so many more like peppers to chicken, I put a piece of pepper between each one, and I kind of anchor it with a piece of zucchini and some red onion. But I think I might start using some more zucchini because I have more of that. And I like to get like 4 or 5 pieces of chicken on the skewer. So this one's kind of a big one, so I'm going to finish this off with a couple of pieces of red onion. So, and this kind of lends itself to many different types of interpretations. This would be fun to do with cherry tomatoes. It would be fun to do with you know, other vegetables. I think the yellow squash would also be fun. And also you can do this with other meats. It doesn't have to be chicken. You know, so if your family likes something else, I mean, I don't think you could do it with ground beef, but unless maybe you did like meatballs. But it is kind of fun to kind of tailor the kebab to your tastes and what your family likes. And I'm just kind of going to town here. I'm really not having any kind of rhyme or reason. If you really wanted to get fancy, you could make them, you know, a little bit more uniform. But I figure each person's going to eat about, you know, an adult will eat about 2 of these kebabs, and a kid will eat 1. There. So that's what one looks like. So basically, when we go to put these in the oven, these will go under the broiler so that they're about 6 inches away from the heat, which is, you know, about this much. And they're going to go for about 3 minutes or 4 minutes. And, you know, just keep an eye on them. And then you're going to use tongs to flip them over and get them on the other side. And then maybe just do like 1 more flip for 1 minute each side to try to get them brown. And then, you know, that's it. They're done. They're done. And they're very delicious. So I hope you guys give this recipe a shot. Again, this recipe, full recipe with the instructions and the ingredients will be on my YouTube channel under the Dinner with Debbie playlist. And I'll also post it onto Facebook with all of the ingredients in the comments. So I hope you guys have a great night and give it a try, and talk to you next week.